ICP and Near Protocol are about to wake up after an uninspiring year of price action. In this video, we're going to talk about exactly the metrics that are showing crazy growth on both ICP and Near Protocol that should have us very excited about what comes next. As well as that, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'll talk about a project that is going to be potentially the next Unibot. Hit the like button and let's get into today's video. Now, first of all, I want to talk about ICP. As we can see from the chart throughout this year, ICP has not really been offering a huge amount, has recently, however, broken from this purple band, and that's given us a bit of a bullish sign. But overall, you would have to admit this is pretty underperforming compared with a lot of other cryptos. If we look into Near Protocol, similar kind of story, basically though a little bit further on than where Solana is. Now, I've covered ICP because it's one of the most interesting projects out there. Has a bit of a bad rep because of some previous stuff to do with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and market manipulation, but that's no real surprise there. However, this project that's looking to replace traditional cloud services such as Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, and many others like this is potentially going to solve a multi-trillion-dollar problem. Going to completely decentralize the internet as we know it, making the internet incredibly cheap and incredibly fast. Now, what I want to talk about is this. Internet Computer currently generates fees from a number of different ways. When you transact on the Internet Computer and you send tokens to one another, then you get charged like a minuscule little fee for that. Also, if you're storing data on the Internet Computer, it will also cost you a small fee. And here you can see, comparing it to Ethereum and Solana, it will cost you $5 per gigabyte per year stored on the ecosystem. Solana is $810,000 and Ethereum is $350 million to do this. So you can see from this that ICP is a clear choice when it comes to storage. But obviously ICP is not really generating much in terms of fees from that because it's incredibly cheap. So where are they generating fees? Well, if you're a developer and you're building onto the Internet Computer, then you will build using something called canisters, which are effectively like a smart contract. And these canisters are basically built directly on top of the Internet Computer. Now, I'm not going to get overly technical in this, mainly because I'm not technical, and I wouldn't even know how to if I wanted to. But effectively, developers who want to build on the Internet Computer basically buy canisters, and this is where they're generating a lot of their fees. Now, a lot of layer 1 blockchains out there are not really generating any fees at all. They're like promises, they don't really exist. But one thing you can be sure of is once they start to gain usage and start to pick up in interest and developers start to build on top of them, then this is very important because it means it gives a project longevity and it's going to see growth into the future. And if we've not really been seeing much in terms of growth in price action recently, because it's not really capturing the attention of various traders, etc., then we can look elsewhere. And this is what's going to bring me to the main point of this video. Now, we can come across to this website, tokenterminal.com. Now, this I'm just using the free version because the paid version is like $370 a month, and that's ludicrous amounts of money that I could be spending on other things like mulled wine and mince pies and all that good Christmassy stuff. But actually, this Token Terminal, top 25 blockchain layer 1s, and here we are, guys. This is the fees generated. At the top, you've got Ethereum, and this is fees, cumulative daily fees over the last 180 days. Nearly $1 billion in fees going into Ethereum. So people are like, oh, Ethereum shit, it's really slow, it's really expensive. Yeah, but it still makes a ton of money, okay? Tron, you can see up here with $530 million in cumulative fees. Now, as you go kind of below Bitcoin in the BNB chain, you suddenly disappear into this kind of like you can't see ecosystem, okay, of tiny little ones here. Even Solana here, $10.2 million in cumulative fees. But what I want to focus on is slightly further down the list. You've got Near Protocol here, which we'll come to later. But Internet Computer currently sits there with $187,000 in fees, which is fuck all compared to how big a market cap it has. But what I want to look at is this down below, the weekly movers, because the weekly movers here tells us something very important. Near Protocol up here, but Internet Computer has gained 940% in terms of fees over the last week. And remember, they're not really generating fees from people buying and sending them to each other. The fees generated from Internet Computer predominantly are coming from people building applications using canisters, purchasing canisters on the Internet Computer itself. What does that tell us? It tells us something very significant. It doesn't tell us that Internet Computer is making a lot of money. In fact, it's barely making anything at all. But what it is telling us is that people are starting to build applications on this. And the more we see dApps and things being built on the Internet Computer, the more you're going to see it growing as an ecosystem. Which projects have we seen having a load of growth recently? Solana, of course, Avalanche, and look what happened to their price action. Solana currently at $72, and earlier on this year, you could have picked it up at like $8. It's one of the top performing crypto coins out there right now. AVAX as well, having a killer run, moving from $8, basically doing a complete 3x, and being further through this, like trending towards the downside, breakout and push up, which is what we see happening with ICP, just ICP being a little bit behind. Avalanche, in comparison, would be sat around here right now, or maybe even up towards this sort of $9 level, which for ICP would be a push, basically nearly a 2x. And this is very exciting because you can see, basically, this is starting to gain a momentum. Why am I so interested in that? Well, right now, a lot of crypto is hype driven. It's coming out of Twitter, a little bit out of YouTube, but not so much, because still we don't really have that massive influx of people coming into YouTube, helping me to get my subscriber count to the next level. Maybe you could also help me. That would be really kind. Thank you for subscribing. But I think once you start moving into kind of like the next phase where we're going to get institutions, etc., trying to invest into various areas, they will be starting to look at value in companies that are actually making money right now, rather than like these hopium idea coins that basically have multi-billion-dollar market caps and aren't really generating anything. They're based on a promise that hopefully we can do this. And ICP is now delivering and will continue to deliver, and we want to keep an eye on what's happening on that token terminal to see whether it continues to grow in terms of fees against value. That's very important if we're going to see more growth for this particular ecosystem. Also, if you come across to Lunar Crush, which is basically telling us the metrics and where different cryptos in terms of how they're performing on the charts, as well as how they're performing in like social performance. Internet Computer sits here in 61 with an alt rank, which is the number we want to pay attention to here, of 449. Now, alt rank basically is a combination of market metrics, how the volume in the market's going with social volume, and relative comparisons against Bitcoin. Now, because in terms of price action, it's not been doing a huge amount, it's starting to clearly gain a lot in terms of social interaction and all that stuff. Social interaction, more things happening on the chain right now. I think ICP is about to move forwards and start to fulfill the idea that a lot of people have had about it throughout the year, because I know it's gathered a lot of influence. And now we got Jerry Banfield on the bandwagon, banging that ICP drum. You know, there's a few other people who are going to talk about ICP more. You know, I think it's going to be an interesting one. People have been reluctant to talk about ICP because everyone just gets told it's a scam all the time. But people who don't have the attention span to be able to read an article and understand that ICP is not actually a scam. It's just some crazy thing that Sam Bankman-Fried did when it first got launched into the markets with an FTX pump and dump scheme. Now, Near Protocol is also one to pay attention to. It's very active on social media with a bunch of different events happening throughout the year. There was one in Lisbon when I was there the other day. They've also got one going on in Dubai. This is important because they continue to gather attention. Now, why is Near Protocol important for us? So what about Near Protocol? Again, unlike Solana and a bunch of other layer ones, it hasn't really got the attention perhaps that it has been deserving throughout this year. It boasts something that I think is very important. It's extremely easy for developers to come and build on this. Near Protocol is a next generation high performance that is enabling developers to build the next generation of Web3 applications. It has a built-in Web3 open source, which is very cool because it allows developers to come in and use existing code, etc., to help them to develop very quickly and easily upon the Near Protocol platform. And it's this that allows developers to create dApps, etc., that are easily discoverable for different people and encourage users to continue to come and take part in building on the Near Protocol. Now, guys, of course, there are far more technical breakdowns than that, because that is obviously not technical in the slightest. But this video is not really about the tech and what goes on behind Near Protocol. I did that in the past, breaking down ICP Near Protocol in more detail. What I want to point out is, as a trader and someone who wants to actually make money in crypto, what we can see happening in terms of the metrics. Coming back to Token Terminal, obviously you probably see what's coming after doing this with ICP. Near Protocol slightly higher up the list, sat just behind Cardano, which currently sat there with 1.1 million in fees. Near Protocol, $784,000 in fees. And you can see, in terms of fees, $489,000 in terms of weekly gain. That's a gain of 2,700% in terms of growth. That is, again, very important. Near Protocol generates fees by people building on to its network, obviously transferring and utilizing the network as well. So any project in here, we should definitely have our eye on, because if we're starting to see lots of fees generation and things like that, it's very important. Now, price to fees ratio, also worth paying attention to, because Near Protocol is now reducing its price to fees ratio by 77%. What does that mean? Well, let's say my company is worth $1 million and over a year, my revenue is $1 million in fees. So that would be a 1-to-1. Currently, you can see the value of Near Protocol is 276 times more than the revenue it makes. That's not amazing. The same with Internet Computer is 5,700 times more expensive as a market cap than it is in terms of its revenue. But as we see these models start to change, then you're going to potentially see the value of these companies improving as well, and that's something that I basically want to pay attention to. So as we look back at the charts, we got Near Protocol running into an area of potential interest here, but I do think that if we continue to see that growth, and in my opinion we are phase 2 moving into that kind of Ethereum bull market after a good push in Bitcoin, I think Ethereum is going to outperform and continue to outperform Bitcoin for a good few weeks. We will see the likes of Near Protocol, ICP, in my opinion, having some good growth. I think Near Protocols could see towards around $6 if Ethereum is pushing up more aggressively. We could potentially see that this month, maybe into next month, which will be a nice gain of around 177% for Near Protocol. ICP, I think, would likely see a push somewhere towards the sort of $7.8 mark, maybe even if things go really well towards $10. That's a 2x, and that would be quite a promising one in my opinion. These two are potentially safer bets. They haven't seen a huge amount of upside so far this year, but I think they will be gathering steam soon. And for the fact they're generating more fees, etc., showing more people flooding in to start using the space, they're both gaining more influence across Twitter, and they will do it across YouTube as well. That for me is something worth a bet. In terms of the future, where ICP goes, anyone sort of bet really, but it wouldn't surprise me if I didn't manage to reach around $100 during this bull market, which is a 20x. Same with Near Protocol, you can see previous highs around $20. If everything goes to plan and you continue to see that growth in terms of dApps, etc. being built, then it wouldn't surprise me to see this go to $20 to maybe $30 if everything goes to plan, which is a 10 to 15x. Now, there are potentially bigger gains out there for sure, but you can't guarantee what they are. Well, I mean, you can't guarantee anything in crypto. Now, so far this year, we've seen a lot of excitement taking place in terms of trading bots with the development of AI and lots of other bits and pieces coming out. Unibot, you can see earlier on this year, came out of nowhere and basically absolutely boomed towards the upside, doing nearly a 7x in just a very short space of time. Since then, you had a bit of a sell-off, and now it's starting to look bullish again in the last few days, having risen around 100%, currently sitting 65% higher than it was at that point. And as you'd imagine, anything that Ethereum does, Solana can do better. There's a new bot in town when it comes to Solana. As you see Solana price absolutely rallying towards the upside, it's no surprise we've now started to see the arrival of new bots. Solarium is a new bot built on Solana. Currently, there's a total of 1 million Solar, which are the tokens used on this particular bot. Now, Solarium allows smooth trading on the Solana chain, while also offering integration on ETH and Solana bridging in the bot. Now, particularly as we move away from centralized exchanges because of all this new regulation and everything like that, we're going to be using far more of like the Uniswaps and the Orcas and the other decentralized exchanges. Orca being a Solana-based decentralized exchange. This is a very important integration that's going to start happening, and that is the use of these bots. Solarium bot is the first ever Solana trading bot with an integrated EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine, Solana Virtual Machine bridge. That's very cool, okay? You can set take profits using this particular bot to enable you to basically cash out when you hit certain levels. As well as that, you can create stop losses, keeping you safe and protected while trading. Now, if you're subscribed to my channel, you'll know probably what a MEV bot is. MEV bots are basically front-running bots. So they're basically constantly calculating when you put in wrong orders on slippage or anything like that, and they're front-running, taking your transactions and increasing the amount of fees that you end up paying. This is great for the MEV bot because the MEV bot makes tons of money at your expense, but this basically works by outsmarting the MEV bot itself and then is able to get you the very best price. It also helps with anti-rugs, safeguarding your investment, and outsmarting fraudulent investments. So it's basically a kind of tool that you can use when trading in the Solana ecosystem, and this this is very cool. Now, currently they're sort of moving between phase 2 and phase 3 as we look into the roadmap. The community expansion phase coming in phase 3, global marketing, strategy, etc. But obviously, guys, this particular section is a sponsorship, and this is part of their marketing strategy. And then into phase 4, more heavy marketing, trying to increase the number of holders beyond 5,000. And that's why I'm kind of excited. Right now, as we move into this crazier stage in the market, when we're seeing Solana really pumping, coins on the Solana ecosystem will start to thrive as well. And as we look across their Twitter, you can see they've only got currently a tiny number of followers. However, already a few bigger names in the space starting to give them a follow. You can see various different bits and pieces like what is coming up. And you can see here, Solar is headed to $200 million and there is nothing anyone can do about it. Think about what Unibot on Ethereum mainnet did. Now consider Solar as the first ever Solana trading bot with the first mover advantage and mass adoption. So to $200 million, what does that mean for us with Solar? So it's definitely worth coming across and giving Solarium a follow over on Twitter, as well as checking out their website, which is linked down below. So if you want, obviously you can go and purchase tokens on the idea that we could potentially see a massive amount of growth. And the way that Solana's going, it's not really a bad bet in my personal opinion. But obviously I'm not a financial advisor, so you need to do your own research. Now guys, as well, make sure you get across and go and give me a follow over on Twitter, because all the time I'm sharing all this different information about various different coins and things that we're looking at all the time, as well as chart analysis and deep breakdowns of all sorts of different bits and pieces. I've been talking about stuff to do with Kazuna, which did around 90% gains yesterday. So if you are following me over on Twitter already, then you potentially would have found this coin and got on board with us. Hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you in the very next video. Bye-bye.